Yeah, I'm serious. This is not a rant. Today's review is on James Gunn's Superman. I never thought I'd say review of a James Gunn super, but I'll get to that when I get to that. Uh, so the plot of this movie is that Superman has been a superhero for many years. This is not an origin story. He's existed for quite some time. Um, and Lex Lex Luthor, played by Nicholas Hoult, of course, is really envious of the power Superman holds, and he thinks that he's trying to take all of the power away from him. So he decides to ruin Superman's image and basically try to sabotage his life and especially his public image. And there's another team called the Justice Gang. I'll also get to that in a bit, which consists of Green Lantern, played by Nathan Fillion, Hawk Girl, played by Isabella Moner, and Mr. Terrific. And they all basically try to help Superman, and his image is tarnished all because he tried to stop a war in the middle of Baravia, which is a European country in DC Comics, especially particularly in the Golden Age Superman, and he's really under fire by trying to bring peace among both countries and intervening with a war, thinking that kindness is not gonna bring bring a war to close, and so he goes through a lot of fire, and Superman tries to retain his image and stop Lex Luthor from destroying his reputation even further with the help of the Justice Gang. Yeah, I'm seriously surprised to say this, but this movie was good. It's not amazing. It's not a top tier DC movie, but it's good. I think it really captures the essence of Superman of being both. It balances the Golden Age with the more modern Silver Age and modern type Superman stories. Because just like the Christopher Reeve 1978 Superman movie, some of it does focus on real world problems. Because when Superman first debuted in 1938, he didn't really face aliens and such. It was more about him trying to stop like actual crimes and actual real life scenarios. And just like the 1978 film, he tried to stop Lex Luthor from building real estate and destroying the California dam. And here he just tries wants to do good in the world, and he wants people to see him as a good person, meanwhile Lex Luthor just wants to take all that away from him. And Lois Lane, just like I said, this is not an origin story. Lois knows Clark is Superman this time, and yeah, I mean, I guess for a change, that is kind of refreshing to see, because I don't know how many times you could do the whole Lois is oblivious to the fact Clark is Superman because of the glasses. Like, I know it's tradition, and I wouldn't have minded if they did that, but it is kind of refreshing to see someone actually know Superman. And I think Superman and Lois, they do have a lot of good moments together. I think particularly a lot of scenes, like the part in the start in one of the trailers where Lois is interviewing Superman about how he was dealing with the conflict in Baravia, and you do get an argument about Superman trying to tell his side of the story of doing good. And I think that is pretty good commentary about people who try to bring peace, cuz if you if you don't know, Baravia is part of the golden age of DC Comics. In the particular, like I said, in the second issue of Superman, he actually did try to stop this one criminal in that country. And I did kind of like that they brought a bit of a golden age uh, type thing to a Superman movie, because normally when you think of Superman, you think of the modern stuff, the aliens, the flying and such, which you do get some of that. You definitely get that in there, but it was kind of nice to see some subject matter from the earlier stories that people don't really look fondly upon in a modern day Superman movie. So, story wise, it's not really the most epic. It's not the biggest. It kind of feels a bit loosely structured. It doesn't feel episodic. It's not really like Superman for all seasons where it goes from one story to another. Some stuff does tie in, but sometimes it does feel a little loosely connected. Like Lex Luthor tries to stop Superman in a whole bunch of ways. He even creates a clone. This is one of the problems. He creates a clone called Ultraman, which is another. evil version of Superman in a black suit who looks like Black Noir from The Boys. And I honestly didn't like that they did that. Because, for one thing, Ultraman is not a clone. He's an evil version of Superman from the antimatter universe of Earth 3. And that would have been cool to see a multiverse within a Superman movie. Because, live action wise, we haven't seen the multiverse in a Superman movie. But no, it's just Bizarro. Like, the whole thing is that he creates a clone and the clone is imperfect, so then the clone becomes Bizarro, who's a zombie looking thing, because the whole thing was that Lex Luthor mistakenly thought he was a metahuman, but so the DNA didn't structure well. But here he's just a clone of Superman who just wears a black suit, and I'm like, that's not really fun. Like, they could have just used Bizarro and it would have worked, but I get it's a James Gunn film. Obviously, it's not going to be much like the comics. But, in fairness, this is more his most comic accurate DC movie because I did primarily like the Suicide Squad, but I admit it's a movie that does get worse every time I watch it. Like, it's hardly like the comics, but none of the characters really act like the comics, and a lot of the writing can be cringe, but it does have a unique blend of characters, and it makes for an interesting, different type of DC movie. This is definitely better. This actually feels like a Superman movie. It doesn't just feel like a James Gunn film. Like, this is nothing like Guardians of the Galaxy. If you're like me and kind of sick of and you're sick of superhero movies because they're all like Guardians of the Galaxy, this one is not like Guardians of the Galaxy. There isn't a bunch of like penis jokes and poo jokes and everything else Gunn does. This one, lots of the comedy comes from the characters, and it works. I think it flows well. It's not forced. There's not just forced one-liners. There's not like a serious moment or a character dragging a joke on and on and on, or a character making fun of another character's name. Not like an MCU movie, or it's not like Gunn's other stuff. I think most of the humor comes from the characters because the thing about the Justice Gang is that they're basically superheroes that are looked up upon, and they're supported by Lord Tech, supposedly which is supposedly the company Maxwell Lord is runs. And this goes to show how bad Warner Brothers butchers DC movies. Like, they couldn't even get the actual Justice League. Is it really that hard to get the Justice League right? Because they call them the Justice Gang. And yeah, they're to be fair, that is kind of the joke of the movie. The whole thing um is that like Guy Gardner, he's against them calling themselves the Justice Gang, and everyone's like, we never agreed to that. And like, yeah, okay, it does kind of work as a joke, but if you want to make a DC universe, honestly, I feel you should focus on the Justice League. Some people say, but that you got to focus on other characters too. Well, we don't have like 50 live action Justice League movies, so that's not really a thing. And I did like Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. I thought he was funny. I thought he really nailed Guy's personality down. He's kind of that tough bad boy uh, attitude, but still kind of a do-gooder. And Isabella Moner's hot girl, like, she was good. Like, thankfully she didn't have a bunch of James Gunn. She got an actual good James Gunn script this time. Unlike, she's gonna appear in Peacemaker. Same with Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. Oh, jeez. But this is way better than Peacemaker. It at least resembles the comics in a lot of ways. There are some things that are different. Like I said, like the thing with Superman's parents is probably gonna upset a lot of people. Me, I didn't really mind it because I feel like the whole thing was that it wasn't canon and it was just a little trick deceived by Luthor. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. And there's a lot of cute moments, like Superman like tries to save a squirrel at one scene. Like, he literally tries to save a bunch of people and evacuate them, and he sees a squirrel. Like, that was kind of funny. Like, that is something Superman would do. So lots of the comedy, it's used sparingly and it flows better. It's not just forced. It's not like trying to be another Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like it, tone wise, it did feel like a Superman movie. It didn't just feel like a James Gunn movie. And the effects are mostly good. Some of them, like, they're not Flash esque. Like, when I saw the trailers, I was like, this looks very Flash esque. But no, the effects in this are way better. And I think for the most part, they're quite good. The color grading is definitely a lot better than the trailers make it look. Like when you see the trailers like online, like the color grading is so bad. Everything's always so overexposed and white, or it's either really washed and it looks really bad. But when I saw this on the big screen, I thought it actually looked like a real movie. Like visual wise, it did not look like The Flash. I guess maybe it helps I saw it in IMAX. Maybe this film looks better if you see it in IMAX. But and there's some good flying scenes. There's a lot of good action. Like obviously it wasn't Deadpool and Wolverine where like it had so many cool moments and so much big stuff where I saw that in IMAX. This like it looked good in IMAX. It was a nice viewing it, particularly with all the flying stuff. And yeah, I'm surprised to say, but I can't believe I'm saying this, but bravo, James Gunn. You actually made something that doesn't feel like something you would make. You actually made something that respects the characters. Who knew? Who knew you had it in you? So yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this about a gun Superman movie, but I'd say check it out. It's good. It's not as good as Superman 1978 or Man of Steel, but still a really good movie. It's full of really good performances, some pretty interesting action, and a lot of stuff that you don't see in the other live action Superman movies that are a really pleasant surprise here. And and just to say, I'm pretty sure you already know this. Stay through the end. It's a superhero movie, so you guys say, okay. I guess the first bit at the end, like the first bit at the end, like it does tease a certain someone. Although if you do know the upcoming DC movies, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. But there is a part at the very, very, very end, but it's just a scene with Superman and Mister Terrific. It's nothing. It doesn't tease anything. It's just a little cute bit. But yeah, can't believe I'm saying this, but Superman is worth watching. It's worth seeing. It's probably on par with the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's way better than James Gunn's other stuff. So, yeah, I quite liked it. It's not an amazing movie, it's not top tier, but I liked it. So, I'll give it that. Okay, the trailers I got Project Hail Mary. I'm kind of curious about this one. This is a science fiction film where like this guy like he wakes up in space and like he has amnesia and he's in a rocket ship and like he can't recall everything that happened and it seems interesting. I do normally like space movies, so yeah, I'm kind of interested in this one. It's with Ryan Gosling and he's always a good lead, so yeah, Project Hail Mary. I'm pretty curious about this one. I think this one could be good. I mean, I don't know if it'll be worth seeing in IMAX, but I think it'll be in IMAX. But I don't know if I'll see it there because obviously that stuff is pricey, but I'll probably see it. I got The Odyssey, which is actually a theatrical exclusive. It apparently this trailer is not online. It's actually playing exclusively before Superman and it looks good. I'm interested. It didn't really show much aside from like some big grand set piece. Obviously, this is based on a poem by Homer. Not Homer Simpson, Homer, but I know of the Odyssey, but I don't really know much about it. But Nolan, for the most part, does good stuff, and it has a really stacked cast. So I think this one might be good. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. I got One Battle After Another, which is that Leonardo DiCaprio movie where he's a soldier trying to find his missing daughter. I have hope for this one. It probably could be interesting. It could be heartwarming. It doesn't look super like dramatic. It doesn't look somber, but at the same time it doesn't look incredibly uplifting. It just kind of looks like a interesting kind of not really thrilling, but a more kind of exciting film, like a film like you want to see where it's going. And Leonardo DiCaprio, you can't ever go wrong with him. He's usually always if he's in a movie, it's usually worth seeing. So I might check this one out. I don't know if I will, but I have hope for it. And I got The Cat in the Hat, which is an animated film that Warner Brothers is producing because they have a deal to make Doctor animated Dr. Seuss movies. And I'm curious. I think it doesn't look too bad. I do think the animation's really good. I think it really captures the Dr. Seuss vibe well. Um, the shading is a little weird. I don't know how to describe it. Like the characters look kind of 2D, but like the dimensions are a little weird. Maybe that's just the style they picked. I don't know. I just think it looks kind of weird, but I do like the idea about how the cat in the hat goes to visit the kids because he exists in some weird dimension where animals like do stuff like there's like the animals like have stuff that rhymes with them, like there's bug in a mug, giraffe with a graph, pig in a wig, like, and the whole job is that they're supposed to entertain children, and that's kind of an interesting idea. I do like that direction, so we'll see how this goes. Maybe it won't be good, but I think it could be fun. So yeah, Superman, it surprisingly works. Will it be in my top 10 of the year? I don't think so. Is it one of the best DC movies of the past few years? Yeah, I'd probably say I liked it more than The Suicide Squad. I liked it more than The Flash. I liked it more than Wonder Woman 1984. I liked it more than Aquaman The Lost Kingdom. A little bit more than Blue Beetle, but maybe it's on par. But yeah, it was good. I thought I thought it was good. It wasn't it will this does this mean I'm going to get hyped for every single DC movie ever? No, heck no. Honestly, some stuff could still probably suck, but at least James Gunn proved he can do something different from Guardians of the Galaxy, and dare I say this felt more like a Superman movie than a Guardians of the Galaxy film. So, yeah, if you're really curious about it, it's worth watching, and if you're not a James Gunn fan, it's worth at least one watch. Like it's not going to kill you. It's not Peacemaker, let me say that. So, yeah, Superman, it's a quite a good film. Hopefully, the Fantastic Four movie that's just about coming out is good too, because Superman and the Fantastic Four are characters we never thought we'd see on the big screen again. So, if this did the Superman justice, hopefully the Fantastic Four does those characters justice. So, yeah, if you want to see Superman, I totally recommend it. It's definitely worth a view, especially in IMAX. It does look really good. Like the IMAX really helps with the color grading and cinematography. So I definitely recommend seeing this film in IMAX if you can. So take care, everybody.